What's up, all you beautiful degenerates out there? Hope it's a beautiful day. Just wanted to hop on and talk some Dynasty with you. Congrats to everybody that won chips in 25, but it's over now. We rolled to 26. Those of you in Dynasty Leagues understand what that means. We're already making moves. We're already planning ahead and just trying to build our roster the way that we want to see it for the future. So buys and sells, that's what I got for you today. And you guys let me know what you think. So first, I'm going to start with a couple of running backs that I really like in Dynasty. A guy that obviously most of you know I love, Quinshon Judkins, coming off a horrific injury. He was balling. He looks like he can just carry a massive workload and looks like he has a really bright future. If you have the manager in your league rostering him that's afraid that maybe he'll be out 26, he had a gruesome injury, things of that nature, go ahead and try to acquire this man. Looks like the timetable is about 4 to 5 months for a recovery for the dislocated ankle and the fractured leg. I believe it was fibula. Anyways, go get Judkins. He's a stud. Trade 26 picks, whatever you got to do. Trade your 26 first. Trade whatever you got to do. This draft class isn't as strong, and there won't be running backs like him in this class outside of Love. So go get him. Love him. Breece Hall's another guy. Obviously, he's a very gifted runner. He's had a couple huge years. He's been in a bad situation and a bad offense. Looks like it's time for him to go and possibly get paid, and ideally get to a better situation. Should just boost his value. So go get him before he signs. More than likely, pretty much anywhere he goes is going to be a better fit for him than the Jets. They score negative 30 points a week. No offense. I'm a Raiders fan. You guys can throw shade at me if you want. Anyway, next guy is going to be Baishal Tutin. We got ETN coming off an absolutely phenomenal year. We know Liam Cohen running backs are always ultra productive. They went out of their way to draft him, and Travis Etienne is coming up on free agency right now. Not sure if they plan on keeping him. I know him and Lawrence have been together for quite a long time, and they do very well together. So maybe they'll keep him, but if they don't, Baishal Tutin is a guy that you want to have before ETN chooses to leave because his stock is going to go through the roof. So Baishal Tutin's another guy I love. I got Algier, who's going to be a free agent. He's going to get paid. Rico Dowdle is going to get paid to go at the very least get some early down work. Obviously, he fizzled out at the end of last year because Carolina just opted not to play him. They paid Chuba all that money, and I think that they knew they weren't going to be able to keep Rico anyway. So he's going to be gone, probably on to bigger, better things. I'm sure he's going to have a productive year next year. So another guy that I absolutely love, these last few are going to be more dart throw types. It's going to be Tank Bigsby. He passes the eye test. I loved him at Auburn. I loved him coming out. I really liked him in Jacksonville. Thought that he was going to be the best running back that they had there this year. And obviously, they had a ton of running backs in that backfield, so they moved him to Philly. He climbed the ladder very quickly and became the backup to Saquon. And as it looked like Saquon was starting to fizzle out there at the end of the year, Tank was really coming on, man. He had that 100-yard week where he had 9 carries. He was ultra efficient. He caught a 31-yard pass. He was good in the red zone. He can thump you. He can run around you. He can do a variety of things. I love Tank Bigsby. I think that there's going to be a smart GM out there that thinks maybe he passed the eye test. He's going to get a look, and I think he's better than probably at least over almost half the running backs that are starting in the NFL right now. Damn sure better than whatever they've got in Arizona or whatever right now. So I like Tank a lot. It's going to be Caleb Johnson and Braylon Allen are going to be my last couple running backs. Braylon Allen, obviously, is a big fella, but he's got some juice, so he's a good player, and Breece is going to be looking at potentially leaving. So he can step right into that role, at the very least getting the early down and goal line work, unless they go out and get someone else, which is very possible. But he's very cheap to go get in case they don't go get someone else or in case he's part of the next committee. So I like Braylon Allen, really cheap. The last guy, like I said, Caleb Johnson, go out and get him. It's probably free. I'm sure the managers are super frustrated with him. Tomlin stepped down. He has good draft capital. He was super productive at Iowa. Very good player. Just wasn't really given the opportunity. Obviously, you got Arthur Smith there, and he pretty much has a way of just absolutely wrecking everything for every good player that's on an offense of his. I'm not sure how he continues to get jobs, but hey, whatever. Hopefully he's gone too, and Caleb Johnson can step into a nice role there, and Arthur Smith can never get hired again. So that's it for running backs. I'm going to get right into wide receivers. I got my guy. You guys know I love Drake London. Let's get into Drake London for next year. If you're looking at Drake London in the second round, just know you're getting the stud, man. He's a steal at that price point. I think, what was it, weeks 5 through 11 or 4 through 11, he had 500-yard games. He had 6 total touchdowns. He was a target hog, and that was all with Michael Penix. He was absolutely a target monster. You're looking at Pitts potentially leaving, vacating some targets. London next year, if he's healthy, he's going to be a really good value. They love him there. He is an alpha. He's every bit of a wide receiver one. What you want, he can do everything. Run every route, side, outside, red zone, underneath, you name it. He can do it all. Contested catches, he's very smooth, very good. He's still young too. So love Drake London. He's got room to grow. The next guy is Luther Burden. You guys know I love me some Luther Burden. I've been talking about him. He's my favorite wide receiver from the 25 draft class. Extremely explosive. Unlike anyone else in this class, really. You can line him up inside, outside. Ben Johnson likes to use him in the screen game. He can bust loose deep, get behind everybody, and he can run those underneath routes. He can get you the some of the contested catches. He's really a dog. He's a hell of a good player, and he's probably the best overall weapon that they have outside of Loveland. So love Burden moving forward. I like him more than Odunze. If you can get Burden, go target him. Get him now before he blows up, man. Because once he really takes off, forget about it. He's going to be elite. You're not going to be able to get him anymore. Another guy is Alec Pierce. Love Alec Pierce. He's so under the radar for fantasy. Nobody ever wants to give him any kind of respect. But he's coming off a 1,000-yard season. He's coming off back-to-back seasons, leading the NFL in yards per catch. Back-to-back seasons. 6 touchdowns, multiple touchdowns to go out. The quarterback play wasn't even great down the stretch, and he was just balling anyway. He's a second-round prospect out of Cincinnati. Very good in college, very good prospect. We know he's super athletic, likes to go up and get it. He can do everything. He's going to get paid. He's going to go somewhere and get paid $15, $20 million a year to go be one of the primary targets for a team. So go get him now before he goes and gets paid, becomes a really good player in this league. Pat Bryant. Go out and get Pat Bryant. He's free. Has elevated to that wide receiver 2 role in Denver. And Sutton ain't getting any younger. Peyton was already comparing Pat Bryant to Michael Thomas during camp. I know he's had some injuries and other things that have slowed him down. He's firmly that wide receiver 2 in Denver right now, and he has got a bright future. He can play inside, he can play outside. Good red zone guy, contested catch guy. Obviously, Thomas was running those slants with his big body and stuff. Same kind of thing for Pat Bryant, man. I really like him long term, and he's a guy that managers probably don't even know they have gold sitting on their bench right now, but he's got that upside. Like him, target him. A couple more guys I got, Kyle Williams sitting behind Diggs right now. He's had a couple really explosive plays. He's in a great situation with Drake May for the future. He was a little bit raw coming out of college, but you knew his release was incredible. His ability to get open and just get behind people are incredible. Lethal threat getting down the field, vertically. Love Kyle Williams. Stephon Diggs signed a 3-year deal this year. Played pretty well, but he's not getting any younger. The deal was pretty front-loaded, and they do have outs as soon as 2026. So if they choose to move on from Stephon Diggs, you're looking at Kyle Williams in a prominent role, and be big things. Again, you don't know how high the managers are in your league on him, but go and take a stab at it. Send some offers. Go and get him. I got Jalen Coker, who I think people are starting to realize this guy is actually a really good player. He has passed Leggett for that wide receiver 2 role in Carolina. He's been playing about 80+% of snaps for the last month or so. In the playoff game, balled out in week 18. He's really been coming on strong. So Coker's probably the guy in Carolina that gets open the easiest, and he's probably got the cleanest routes, and he's got really good hands. So I like Coker. Again, a guy that could really break out next year. I think that he could do big things. I think they know what they've got in him now. Noah, Torrey Horton, A.D. Mitchell, and Isaiah Bond are going to be guys that are kind of pros. AD's got all the upside in the world. He's fast. He's runs really good routes. He's just got to get a better feel for where he's got to sit sometimes and being consistent, really. But upside is definitely there. Jalen Noel is a guy that was ultra productive at Iowa State. They still have Dell. They still have Higgins. They still have Nico. Maybe he doesn't get the opportunity, but if he does, he's an extremely explosive player. I like Jalen Noel. He was one of my favorite receivers in the last draft class, too. Cooper Kupp is obviously older now. I know they have Shaheed there, but they like to use him on special teams and more deep threat sort of role on offense. It seems he only plays about 50% of snaps so far. Torrey Horton is a guy that makes some noise next year. If they go out and address the receiver room, maybe that changes. But as of now, Torrey Horton's a guy to look to the future with. You can definitely go get him for tight ends. Colson Loveland is a guy that you got to get somehow, some way. Colson Loveland is a top 3 tight end in Dynasty. He has been proving that over the last month. He is the alpha receiver in Chicago right now. Guy is just unbelievable. He can split out. He can play in line. You don't ever have to take him off the field. He's gritty. He's athletic. He can play in the red zone. He's just the most reliable guy that they have. And I love Colson Loveland. If you can get him for a reasonable price, like I've said a couple times now. You got Bowers, you got McBride, you got Loveland right after him in terms of dynasty rankings, especially now with down and everything. Isaiah Likely is another guy coming up on free agency. Extremely good receiving prospect out of Coastal Carolina. Filled up the box scores every single week for them, back with like Grayson McCall back in the day there. He's a stud, man. He had a couple 400-plus yard seasons. He had a 5 touchdown season, 6 touchdown season, and this is as a backup to Mark Andrews. The guy doesn't play enough snaps to be getting those numbers, but he is. So that tells you that if he goes out in free agency and he gets paid to be somebody's tight end 1, I'm going to want to probably start that man in fantasy leagues as soon as possible. So if he's playing 80+% of snaps and he's in a good offense and a good situation, he's a really good player. He's phenomenal. He's going to do great things. Last couple tight ends I want to talk about. A couple young guys. We got Gunnar Helm and Elijah Arroyo. They're both rookies. Helm out of Texas and Arroyo out of Miami. Both very good receiving tight ends. And they weren't playing a big role for them this year, but they were kind of guys and just growing in that. But I expect the Titans to take a step forward, and I think Gunnar Helm benefits next year. Last thing I want to touch on are quarterbacks for Superflex leagues. These are guys that you're going to be able to get for dirt cheap. Quarterbacks are so hard to find in Superflex. I love going and taking stabs on guys that have big upside. That's what it is, right? You want to swing for the fences with these things. You don't have to pay a ton, but the upside is there. It could really bring a big reward down the road. Cam Ward. Talent is through the roof. I love Cam Ward. I think he can make every single throw that you can ask him to make. He's gritty. He's tough. All these things. If they can get some good coaching in place in Tennessee and get him some real weapons, these wide receivers are a joke right now. Get him an alpha receiver. Go and get him some help. He's going to be a good player. Get him. I'm sure he's at the very least going to be a fringe quarterback 1 before we know it. So go get Cam Ward. Penix is another guy. I know a lot of people are down on him right now. He still has all the tools to just be a great quarterback in this league. And I think, again, with some better coaching for him, that offense could light it up. He's going to be back next year. And Kirk's not the guy. I think that they already are prepared to move on from him. And Arthur Blank was just saying how much he still believes in Penix as a franchise quarterback. Penix is a guy to go get for dirt cheap. And if he pans out, great. And if he doesn't, that's okay. A couple of dart throws. I got Mac Jones, Riley Leonard, Tanner McKee, and Joe Milton. These are all guys with good tools that have potential where if they go somewhere like a Minnesota or they go somewhere where there's a quarterback competition, there's a chance that they could come away with the starting job. They're certainly talented enough, especially when you look at a guy like Joe Milton. The things that he can do talent-wise with that arm and with his legs, he runs 4.5. He can throw as far as anybody in the NFL. He can get accuracy and processing and those things down, learn a little bit from Dak and how to be a pro and stuff. He could be a special quarterback. I really like Joe Milton. Leonard obviously is at least going to start a couple of games next year, it looks like. Well, Danny Jones is out with his Achilles injury. And if he stays hot, obviously he torched Houston like else really could this year. So if he stays hot, who knows what happens with him. But it's worth a shot. Mac Jones, again, early round pick that everybody wanted to give up on so quickly. And he's absolutely dominating for San Francisco this year. Looks really good. Looks like a different guy. He's so confident and comfortable with himself now. Just everything about him. He's got that grit, that toughness that you want. Again, these are all guys that I'm after. Those are everybody that I'm buying right now in Dynasty leagues. And not only that, I did want to mention to you guys, everybody in Dynasty right now, if you are in a real rebuild, like you don't have shit on your roster, you've got nothing, you're not close to winning, try to just stack 27 draft picks. 26 is okay. 27 is the draft that you want picks in. That's going to be a gold mine. You got all the quarterbacks. You got Jeremiah Smith. You got a ton of guys that are going to be in the 27 draft. I would be stacking 27 picks, and I would be very happy to have those over my 26 picks. After Love, it's really not that impressive of a class. Got a couple good receivers, but nothing too crazy. So, then a couple guys that I'm going to sell real quick. DeAndre Swift. Got Monungai there. Swift is coming off a career year. If you can move him for a good amount, I would definitely move him. They've been talking about Genti last year. Then they got Monungai. Then Monungai's role is growing throughout the year. So I like Swift. I would certainly trade him for the right price. Barkley is another guy. Dynasty leagues, as you get creeping up near 30 with all that mileage on you, depending on what kind of a team you've got, I would definitely move Barkley if I could too. If you could get a guy like Judkins or you could do something like that, work that out, I would be looking for that. Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, and A.J. Brown are all guys that I'm out on. I was out on A.J. Brown this past offseason. I traded him everywhere I could. Guys get close to that 28, 29, and they start slowing down and time to move on and just get younger and the best way to make sure that you don't have to go through a full rebuild. You don't want to get a lot of these guys until they're 40 years old, and then you're like, "Whoa, everybody's gone." You want to just make these every once in a while to keep yourself kind of you don't get too old. So that's my advice to you guys. I appreciate you all, and I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. Till the next time.